Now, most of you already know by now that most stocks in the JSE have not really recovered from the heat of the pandemic, meaning that the kind of prices or share prices they were trading at before the pandemic, they have not headed back to those share prices, which is something that we can all conclude and say that they have not really recovered from the pandemic. But though we have seen, of course, some of the companies we invest in locally sort of like heading back towards the kind of revenues they were reporting before the pandemic, they have still not recovered in terms of the share price back to the kind of share price they were trading at before the pandemic, which is something that, of course, if they are delivering or reporting the kind of revenues or the kind of earnings or financials they were reporting before the pandemic, it means that the right now probably might be the opportunity for you to probably scope in some shares into those companies. Now, with that said, you will know that, of course, Sun International is one of the stocks that were heavily hit, as the traveling and leisure industry is one of the industries that really suffered a huge hit from the pandemic. And since this is one of the stocks in that industry, we saw its share price coming below 10, which is something that was not good to see, not good to watch, especially to those that bought Sun International when it once traded, or when it was trading close to 100 rands per share. Because, ladies and gents, some time back, this is a company that found itself, it was trading, it even went to trade over 100 rands per share, which is something that obviously it was good, of course, to see it trading higher in those days. But nonetheless, in the pandemic, we saw it, of course, trading below 10 rands per share, which personally I think I did a video saying that I was there, I did invest into Sun International, but as soon as, of course, it had hit 15 rands, I sold all my holdings. But obviously, I'm back into Sun International again, and last year I already did a video on this channel where, of course, I was telling you why I'm coming back into Sun International, and so far so good. I'm up on this Sun International stock ever since I came back or bought it back last year, somewhere between Q3 and Q4. So like a couple of weeks ago, we're discussing Sun International, saying that it is still a very good opportunity to buy, looking at the latest stats that was given unto us of the tourists or international tourists coming into South Africa, which we read or we saw that in the Q1, ladies and gents, the inflows of tourists increased by over 100% when we compare to the kind of inflows from tourists we saw a year ago. This is something that obviously it did made me to do that video and showed you that I believed that these, of course, companies in this traveling and leisure industry will continue recovering, because we are continuing seeing a strong, of course, tourist inflows. In fact, over 100% of tourist inflows when we compare to the kind of inflows we saw last year. Now, talk about Sun International again. Sun International, ladies and gents, for their full 2022 year, we saw, of course, them reporting the kind of revenues they were reporting before the pandemic, which is something that must just show you that it looks like this company has really recovered. But though it has recovered, the share price of this company has not recovered, but yet we are seeing them reporting the kind of revenues they were reporting before the pandemic, which is something that is incredible, right? I mean, Sun International right now, you'll know that not only did it see growth or gains from the kind of share price it was trading at, and that is the share price of below 10 rands, to where it's currently trading at right now, that is around 36 rands per share. This is the massive growth. Or those that participated and were still holding onto their shares, the share price has recovered quite well, but again, it has not came back to where it was trading at before the pandemic, which is something that, of course, it has to whisper opportunity. It has to show you that probably this company, it is still a very good opportunity to buy. And the fact that, of course, in the Q1 we saw, of course, inflows increasing by over 100%, it is a good thing that must boost or motivate you to probably consider hanging around these traveling and leisure industry stocks as they are set to recover. Now, ladies and gents, just today, the reason why I'm doing this video, just, of course, yesterday, in fact, I read a wonderful article once again about this traveling and leisure industry, which indicated the kind of inflows or tourist inflows or people or international people that visited, of course, South Africa from overseas leading countries, which obviously, ladies and gents, as soon as you notice that it looks like when you compare to the kind of tourist incomings or of tourists coming in SA, the number continues growing, because like I said, as soon on the screen you notice that obviously when you compare the kind of tourists that were coming in obviously in April of 2022 against the tourists of course that were coming in April of this year, it just shows you that obviously, ladies and gents, the numbers continue growing, which is something that of course it's good news and might continue driving companies like or stocks like Sun International to continue doing well, meaning that we might see them reporting even much better of course earnings than the earnings that they saw for the year 2022. So far so good. 2023 remains a very good year for companies like Sun International, because if they reported good earnings, in fact reported the kind of revenues they were reporting before the pandemic by the year 2022, and we are still seeing, ladies and gents, a lot of tourists, or in fact for Q1 we saw of course tourists increasing, or tourist inflows increasing by over 100%, and for the month of April it's the same thing. We are seeing the tourists continue to increase. It means that even the kind of revenues that of course companies like Sun International, ladies and gents, will report even for this year are set to be much better than the kind of revenues they reported in the previous year, which makes Sun International a stock that is worthwhile, which makes a stock like Sun International, ladies and gents, to be that kind of stock that probably if you are investing into local shares, you might want to have a deep dive or do a deep dive into this stock, because it is doing very well. Now, before of course I forget the house rules, you already know that this video is just an entertainment video and not a professional financial advice video. I would really appreciate if you can just hit the likes button if you are enjoying the content that I'm giving you about the traveling and leisure industry, specifically looking at a company that I personally own, and that is Sun International. So if you are enjoying this kind of content, give it a thumbs up, as it also helps with YouTube's algorithm. Otherwise, if you have not subscribed, consider subscribing, and when you subscribe, hit or click that notification bell, because on this channel we're all about the stock market. We discuss stocks locally and internationally. When we see opportunity, the first thing I think about is you guys, and that is of course is to do a video and try to obviously give you what is it that I'm spotting, or what is it that I'll be investing in, which is what makes it so interesting, because not only am I just talking about companies that other people are investing in, I talk about companies, or most of the time I'm talking about companies that I personally invest in because of the kind of news, because of these kind of news like what we are seeing in the traveling and leisure industry, which is something that obviously it is a good thing. Sun International, it is one of the stock that obviously, in fact, for this whole month, wherever of course I get my money, I'm going to seriously prioritize Sun International, because this is the company which is just set for greatness. I'm thinking of increasing probably my holdings by over 100% into Sun International due to these kind of articles, because ladies and gents, some of the things that obviously tells you what to expect into of course certain stocks are these kind of articles, because they tell you that come of course the 2023 full year earnings results or financial results, we are going to see, or we are to expect a company like Sun International to continue growing, to continue doing well, which is something that obviously it is incredible. So I'm going to increase my holdings by over 100% onto Sun International, and because I believe in its fundamentals, its future prospects, and the fact that they pay dividends, ladies and gents, it is a blessing, because not only are we going to see of course a share recovery, but we are also going to be receiving some good dividends along the way. I think around March I personally received some very good dividends from Sun International, because I think per share they paid R3.29 if I'm not mistaken, which was a very good dividend, and this is a kind of dividend that really makes me to be excited of course into a company like Sun International. So yes, I just thought I'd just give you this quick update about of course the kind of inflows we saw from the month of April when comparing to the kind of inflows we see of course in the month of April of 2022. So if you enjoyed this video, like I said, please consider hitting the like button, as it also helps with YouTube's algorithm. Otherwise, I make tons and tons of stock market investing videos, and if you think that this video was amazing, please don't forget to hit the like button, comment and subscribe. And once you subscribe, don't forget to hit or click that notification bell so that at least you get notified by YouTube every time I drop a new content. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey. And before you buy any stock, any company, please do make sure that you do your own due diligence so that at least you can be comfortable when you are investing into the stock market. Otherwise, that's all from me, and I wish you nothing but the best in your stock market investing journey, and God bless you all.